We've already seen that Paul tells us in Romans chapter 6 that we are dead to sin. And through our participation with Christ, we've been crucified with him so that sin no longer has power over us. But Paul doesn't stop there. He keeps going. And in Romans 7, Paul teaches us that we're also dead to the law. He says in Romans chapter 7, verse 4, he said, we were also made to die to the law so that we might be joined to another so that we can bear fruit for God. Now, I want to talk a little bit about this idea of dying to the law. You know, the law, by its very nature, says this: you must do this or you must not do that. It is an obligation. It is a binding command that is put upon our lives that tells us how we ought and ought not to live. And God knew that this was not the ultimate way for humans to live. He wants us to be joined to him so that we can bear fruit for God. You know, it's amazing how this idea of obeying the law and walking by the Spirit is in contradiction to one another. Because see, when you obey the law, the Bible says that you are doing the works of the law. And the works of the law come with their reward or with the curse. If you don't obey the law, you're cursed. But if you obey the law, you're blessed. But the writers of the New Testament come along and they tell us that under the new covenant, under what God has done by his Spirit to give us the life of Christ within us, we are joined to him so that now we no longer work the works of the law. We actually bear fruit for God. You know, Paul says elsewhere that for those who believe, Jesus is the end of the law. So it's not about trying to perform for God and make sure we do the right things or don't do the wrong things. It's all about abiding in him. And if we abide in him, we will bear fruit. And we no longer live under the expectation that we can't measure up. We can't perform good enough. Guess what? None of us can perform good enough. God has grace and mercy on us. And he says you don't have to perform anymore. You can just rest. You can abide in me, and because you're abiding in me and you're walking in faith, you are dead to the law. The law has no power, no jurisdiction over you anymore. That the grace of God operates now in your life and empowers you to do and bear fruit for God in everything in your life. So take this in, contemplate on what it means to be free in Jesus and to receive his grace fully in every area of your life and enjoy bearing fruit for God.